your kids are fans of the NBA and the WNBA, have the posters, jerseys, and talk nothing but dunks, then our next guest has something very special for you.
Chris Navalta is a children's book author and is about to release Basketball Stars, a book about some of the greats of the game past and present and what they overcame to achieve their dream. Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Can we do that Smelly Cat karaoke? That was awesome.
We were hoping you'd bring a little table like basketball net, and we could like shoot some moves, play horse or something with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Next time.
Absolutely.
But we should show off your kicks as well. I mean, we're gonna get that. Look at these bad boys right here. we need to get a shoe cam for this shot.
Yeah,
they're super awesome. Anyway, let's move on to your book, because this is very, very cool. There's so much to it. First of all, though, what made you decide to write a kids book about basketball stars?
Well, we're seeing now how popular basketball is really getting. We're seeing that with everybody here in Vegas for Summer League. We're seeing the popularity of the WNBA just hitting the stratosphere at this point. I wanted to write a book for children to not only introduce them to the game of basketball, but also introduce them to some of the players that paved the way to make the game the way it is today. You'll see some current players like Steph Curry, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, A'ja Wilson from your Las Vegas Aces, but also some players such as Muggsy Bogues, who's 5'3" when the average height is
Muggsy was a legend back then.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And kids need to know Muggsy's story. Jeremy Lin, who wasn't drafted, was signed and released 4 times in less than a year. So my thing is wanting to tell kids that, you know, sometimes height and talent is important, but everybody has gone through their own personal journey on how they got to where they are today.
Yeah.
That's right. And you mentioned A'ja Wilson. She's someone who viewers watching will absolutely know here in Las Vegas.
3-time MVP.
Exactly. And I can already think of a number of reasons why you've included her in the book, but why did you?
Yeah, so again, there's 10 stories about personal struggles that these players went through. Most are basketball related, which a lot of people may know about. A'ja Wilson was very brave to share her personal story of growing up having a learning disability, being dyslexic. And I think what I wanted to do is, obviously A'ja Wilson is a superstar player, 3-time MVP like you said, but my message was A'ja is an example where there should not be any barriers for anybody who wants to be a great basketball player, whether it is a basketball challenge or having a learning disability.
Yeah. From A'ja to so many other people in here, that there are so many different backstories and paths that people have gone through. Was there anything for you, though, that surprised you when you were researching any of these players?
Absolutely. So full disclosure, born and raised in the Bay Area. So I am a diehard Golden State Warriors fan.
Of course you are.
Naturally, we do not like LeBron James in the Bay Area. But that being said, reading about his story, about his childhood, growing up with a single mother, having to move 12 times in his childhood, having to miss 100 days of school because there was just no stability in his life, it could have taken easily a different pathway as he got older. But it wasn't until he met a coach who took him in, gave him stability, some housing, introduced him to sports, and then, you know, the rest is history. So I had a newfound respect for LeBron James from that standpoint. Kobe Bryant had to move to Italy when he was 6 years old. I transferred schools when I was a little bit older than him. I was nervous trying to make new friends. I can't imagine what Kobe felt like, having to move to Italy, to a new country, learning a different language, and just being on his own. So these were a couple of examples of what really surprised me while I was doing my research for this book.
Yeah.
You know, for kids reading this, and you as the author, I mean, what do you really want them to take away from this book?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but, you know, a lot of players attribute their success to God-given talent. They'll always say that. But sometimes talent and height is not enough. And sometimes the path to the NBA or the WNBA is different for everybody. So there's about 4,800 players that have played in the NBA alone in the last 78 years, and they all have their own stories on how they got there. So I think I wanted to make sure kids knew that the path is different for everybody. Yes, hard work, dedication is important, but sometimes there's some struggles that come along the way too, and I wanted to make sure that they have that perspective so that they understand what players went through outside the court, so they can appreciate more what they've done on the court.
Well, that's great, Chris. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
This book is incredible. Thank you. Guys, Basketball Stars drops on July 22nd, and you can get yourself a copy by visiting penguinrandomhouse.com and searching Chris Navalta or Basketball Stars.